Hi, my name is Jacob Pushy, and today I am going to discuss with you the gummy bear lab. For this lab, we were instructed to take 3 gummy bears, placing one gummy bear in tap water, the second gummy bear in a salt water solution, and the last bear left to air as a control. Clearly, this experiment was to explore osmosis. This chemistry term describes the motion of water through a barrier or membrane, like a gummy bear. In addition, this lab looked at hypotonic and hypertonic solutions and their effect on membranes like a gummy bear. One question that might come up is why a gummy bear grows when other candies, like a peppermint, dissolve. And that is because a gummy bear, unlike a peppermint, contains gelatin, which does not dissolve in water, as well as sugar, which does. If you were to zoom in with a microscope onto an individual gummy bear and look at the individual gelatin molecules, you would see that they're all tangled together into tiny pockets, and between these pockets are where liquid can get trapped. And as we see in this experiment, or I will show you in this experiment, these pockets can hold a lot of fluid. In this lab, the sugar in the gummy bear acts as the solvent. The gelatin holds a semi-solid solution inside the gummy bear, and the gummy bear acts as the semi-permeable membrane for the solution inside. When the gummy bear is placed into tap water, which I will show you, the gummy bear has a high concentration of dissolved solvent, which the solvent is sugar, and thus the water flows into the gummy bear through osmosis, because water, well, any solution really, will want to go from low concentration to high concentration. So for that reason, the low concentration of water has a low concentration of solvent, the sugar, and wants to go into the high concentration environment to reach equilibrium. And thus, the gummy bear will swell up in this tap water solution. However, when the gummy bear is placed into the salt water solution, the hypertonic solution, it's placed with the gummy bear, which also has its own concentration of solvent, the sugar. So therefore, the sugar will want to be pulled out of the gummy bear, and it'll shrink the gummy bear in the salt solution to reach equilibrium, because the concentration of salt is higher, and the lower concentration environment is the gummy bear. So therefore, the fluid in the gummy bear will flow out and shrink it down. So I'm going to show you guys that right now. So this one here, as you can see, it's pretty swelled up. This is the one that was in the water solution. This one that looks shrunken, the orange one here, this is the one I placed into the salt solution. And then this one is our control. So I'm actually going to weigh these for you guys now, just so you can kind of see what we've got. So a regular gummy bear weighs 3 grams. And then the one with the water on it, surprisingly, also weighs 3 grams. And then I will show you, also weighs 3 grams. So the weight difference, which wasn't really a part of this lab, but I kind of just wanted to look at that further. The weight difference, surprisingly, is the same. But clearly, there's a visual difference, in that the one that was placed in water is much more swollen, and then the one that is placed in the salt solution looks shrunken when compared to the regular. So I'll put them side by side. Looks much more shrunken than the regular, and then this obviously looks much more swollen, and it's also much more fragile. So when I touch this one, pieces of it come off. So yeah, I'll tell you guys more about that. So many important principles that I just kind of explained to you guys were discussed and kind of examined throughout this lab, that being osmosis, hypertonic and hypotonic solutions, and the swelling that we observed in this lab related to that. The reason osmosis first occurred is because of the concentration of water. There was a very low concentration of water in the gummy bears, so when the bears were placed into the tap water, the water molecules moved from the higher concentration area of water to the lower concentration area, or the bears. This happened until the water molecules were balanced on each side. The water was absorbed due to some of the ingredients that make up the bears. Without these ingredients, the water would have dissolved the bears, that being the gelatin, which kind of doesn't dissolve in the water, which we discussed, and the swelling observed in proportion to the water concentration and ended when the osmosis was finished, or when they reached equilibrium. However, when the gummy bears were placed in the saturated salt solution, it is placed in a hypertonic solution, and thus the water flows out and the gummy bear is deflated. So that is the lab that I completed today and kind of discussed with you guys. I hope you guys learned a lot as much as I did, and thanks for viewing my video. Thanks.